Hello guys, Brandon Carey here, and after finishing Astro's Playroom, and having a little bit of a nostalgia trip, it's time to go back into some of the heavier shit. That's right, we are playing Demon Souls, which means we are going to die a lot. More than twice. And this is the PS5 remake of Demon Souls, in case that wasn't obvious. This is Blue Point made the remake. And this was originally a FromSoft game. And generally speaking, before we actually get to it, I want to say that Blue Point did a pretty good job remaking Demon Souls. And they made a lot of really smart choices. There are a couple to disagree with, but overall, I did like the quality of this remake. I think they did a very good. They should be praised for the work they put into it, and having kind of like the guts almost to reinterpret FromSoft's vision of Demon Souls for a modern console, a modern take on this same game. Because that's not easy. That takes a lot of work. And for what they did, especially since since the PS3 game, which was also like that was my first Souls game, so I have particular fondness for this game. Since those servers are now down, you can't actually play the online portions of the PS3 version. This is almost by default the best way to play Demon Souls, because you get the online portions of it that you didn't get before. And while we're playing the intro cutscene, just should lay some ground rules. This is not going to be 100%. Or, well, such a thing isn't even be possible with Demon Souls. You will always miss out on content no matter what you do. I will endeavor to explain as much of it as I can, but I am by no means an expert. And do expect things to get missed. Things that might seem like like vital to the experience might get missed, and that's okay. We're just here to play through the game and just enjoy the run. And if you do see something, if you're interested in this game, I do highly encourage you to give it a shot. We'll play a new name. We will call him Larry. No. Derek. Spelled weird. Starting class. I haven't really thought about it. I usually go as royalty to get the regenerator ring. But I've played that build so many times that I want to do something different. Because there's only so many times you can use magic and it works. Like it works, but it's you've done it once, you've done it 1,000 times, you don't really need to do it again. The comer that officially learns spells, soldier of the church. Axe and a bow. I actually do kind of want to use a bow, so we might either do thief or hunter. Let's see, does thief have more dex? Okay, thief probably uses a dexterity weapons. Yeah, I'm probably gonna choose the thief this time. I chose the wrong gender. Or the wrong body type. It's okay. We're going to still name you Derek. You're going to be a hunter. And none of these are really important. But we will start with the fire bombs. Because the fire bombs are good. Sure. And let's choose a preset. I don't want to spend an eternity here in the menu, so we will use one of the presets. This guy looks pretty cool. We'll choose you. We'll choose the vampire guy here. We will save you here. And here we go, Derek the weird vampire thing.
The 12th, by channeling the power of souls, brought unprecedented prosperity to his northern kingdom of Boletaria. That is, until the colorless deep fog swept across the land. Boletaria was cut off from the outside world, and those who dared penetrate the deep fog never returned. But Valifax of the royal Twin Fangs broke free from the fog and told the world of Boletaria's plight. That the old King Allant had roused the Old One,
yep,
the great beast below the Nexus.
Those eldritch gods, you know, always screwing with things.
And that a colorless fog had swept in, unleashing terrible demons. The demons hunt down men and claim their souls. Those who lose their souls lose also their minds. The mad attack the sane, and chaos reigns. Valifax also,
and this is how
the enticing power of the demon souls.
The game kind of explains the mechanics.
Each time a demon claims a human soul, the demon's own soul is invigorated by the life force, and the power of a mature demon soul is beyond human imagination. The legend spread quickly. Mighty warriors lured by the possibilities braved the fissure to breach the accursed land, but none have returned. Pure of the Twin Fangs, yet the silent chief.
These are all characters we will
Saint
meet,
Urbane,
or may meet in the game. We may not.
Scurva the Wanderer, the sixth Saint Astraea with her night guard.
Hey Steve, welcome to the chat.
And Sage Frake the Visionary.
Yeah, these are all heroes who have braved the deep fog.
Slowly creeps beyond Boletaria's borders. Humankind faces a slow and steady extinction. The deep fog will eventually swallow all lands near and far.
And that's where we come in.
But Boletaria has one final hope. A lone warrior who has
She's
braved
talking about
the
us.
baleful fog. Ah, has the land found its savior? Or
Thank
have
you, Steve.
the demons found a new slave?
So that is more or less the story. Yes, we'll start over from Journey to Nexus. It's giving the option because I've done it before.
Soul of the lost
Oh no, I screwed up. That's bad. I want to show the intro. I meant to say yes. I thought I was asking if we were going to skip it. I do want to do the tutorial, yes, for the sake of the Let's Play. But that cutscene more or less explains... No, let me skip this, please. Please let me skip this. Oh, for the god. Love of God. Okay. I'm pressing all the buttons and I'm not being able to skip it. While we're stuck watching this again, I should probably go over that cutscene that we went through just now. Basically, we are going to a land called Boletaria. That is the name of the place that we are playing in for Demon Souls. And it is run by King Allant, who is the ruler of Boletaria. And he has knights under his regime. And everything was kind of relatively peaceful until King Allant resurrected an ancient god known as the Old One. And once the Old One came back, he started creating demons to feed his ravenous hunger for souls. So the demons consume human souls and then give a portion of those souls to the Old One to sate his hunger. Oh, I guess we are just skipping the tutorial now. That's... No, we're not. We're gonna go back to main menu and we're gonna start over. Hopefully we can skip the cutscene. At the start of the game, we do not know why King Allant resurrected an ancient evil, but that is part of the mystery. Part of what makes part of
King Allant the 12th.
I guess we're watching the cutscene again. Fucking Christ. Okay.
Brought unprecedented prosperity to his northern
Derek.
kingdom of Boletaria. That is, until the
Derek the
colorless
Hunter.
deep fog swept across the land.
But part of what makes a soul game work
Boletaria was cut off from the outside world,
is
and those who dared penetrate the deep
it
fog,
does it is rarely ever straightforward with its lore.
but Valifax of the royal
A lot
fangs
of
free from the fog,
what makes Dark Souls as a game series what it is the art of seeding
King Allant had
pieces of the world's story and lore
below the Nexus
throughout
from its
the
eternal
levels,
slumber, and that a colorless fog had
so that the
swept in,
player can discover
unleashing
for themselves
terrible demons.
what is going on.
The demons
Part of what brings people to this franchise is that the fact that the lore isn't always spelled out for you. There's a lot of room for interpretation, and so people can have discussions about what does it mean that this sword, which is owned by this character, was found in this location. What does that mean? Or what does it mean for this boss to have been found here?
The legend spread quickly. Mighty
And
warriors lured by the possibilities brave
that is
to breach the accursed land.
a little less true with Demon Souls, because with Demon Souls we do have a pretty good picture of the full story, or at least the community does, because
Yet the silent chief,
you play enough
Saint Bane,
playthroughs and you talk to the people who've also played this game, you eventually just learn all the things you need to know.
Saint Astraea with her night gull vineyard.
But a lot of like the true nature of like Dark Souls is still a hotly debated topic to this day.
Colorless deep fog.
Less so for Demon Souls, less so we basically kind of know Demon Souls' story by this point.
Humankind faces
But
a slow and
part of the
steady
magic of
slip.
this franchise is discovery.
The deep fog will eventually swallow.
This
all
cutscene is
lands
really long, and
near
it cannot be
and
skipped, and that kind of annoys me.
But Boletaria has one final hope. A lone warrior who has braved the baneful fog. Ah, has the land found its savior?
Lol.
Or
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
demons found a new slave?
So, as for why King Allant brought the old one back, part of it is figuring out why. Why did the old one come back in the first place? That's part of what makes the game interesting, is that you have to figure that out on your own. If it doesn't matter to you, you don't have to care about it at all. You just play the game. But if you do care about it, it's there to discover. So let's start with Journey to the Nexus. This is the tutorial. Like since people have played the PS3 version before,
Brave soul who fears not death.
they make this optional. But because we're playing through this for the Let's Play on the channel, we should go through the tutorial just so you all have the full experience, or as close to a full experience as you can get in one playthrough. Because the ideal way of playing Demon Souls is to play New Game Plus and to try out different things as you keep playing the game. You're not supposed to get everything in one run. You're not going to get everything in one run. You're gonna miss shit. But you can get a full, generally a good, fulfilling experience by just playing. And so, if you're familiar with the way a Souls game works, this was like the game that started it all. Well, that's not sure. That's King's Quest, or King's Field. But this is the big game that brought Souls into the limelight. And basically, the name of the game is stamina management. That red bar is my health, and that is important. But this green bar is my stamina, and that is more important, because if you ever run out of stamina, you are more or less defenseless. You can barely even dodge without using the green stuff. So a lot of combat is baiting enemies into reckless moves so that you can conserve stamina and evade their attacks. That's a little healing item, Crescent Moongrass. And something if you haven't noticed yet, you'll notice eventually as we play on. The pace of combat in Demon Souls is very deliberate. Direction and hold to vault. There, that's the vault button. You take a bit of damage from the fall, but not too much. It is a slower combat system than you see in most action games, and that is on purpose, because if I press the button here, oh hi Deathloop, you've installed. I can play you on Tuesday. There's actually like a good second between when I press the button and when the animation finishes. So if I willy-nilly mash the attack button, I am more or less leaving myself completely open. Yes, Steve, it's about tactics. It's about tactics and positioning. And so, essentially, your goal in a given combat is to kind of take as little damage as possible. And, more or less goad your enemy into making himself vulnerable so that you can attack. and don't make the mistake I just made there, but that's fine. Yeah, you can backstab as well, but I haven't gotten it. Forlorn Outpost. And these are people who have lost their souls, which is why they are kind of attacking me without any regard to their own safety. Because these are humans who have lost their souls, and that's why they don't drop a lot of souls when they die. Because when you lose your soul, you lose your mind. There we go. Something that is, that souls are kind of famous for is that if you just kind of waltz in unprepared, even the weakest enemy in the game can kill you. And that's a backstab. Ooh, I like that animation. And you see he had blue eyes, meant he was stronger than the average person, but if you know what you're doing, that's not a big deal. Oh yeah, you can use the two-hand weapon, which we'll probably do because I don't actually need the shield a whole lot. Usually dodging is better than blocking. Making good progress. Half Moon Grass. Nice. And with bow equipped, precision aiming mode. Or I could just use my axe, because it's a good weapon. For now, until we get a better one. Because, like, your equipment is another part of your build in Demon Souls, and it's very important that you have equipment that is suited for your playstyle. Otherwise, you will suffer as a result. I didn't even see you there. Was not paying attention. That was my bad. But it's fine. You're still in tutorial, but that is okay. You're making good progress. Making good progress. Let's see. I think this is the last. I don't know how much longer the tutorial goes for. Okay, we are at the end of the tutorial. This is the Vanguard Demon. These are more or less our intro to boss mechanics. must be really bad at first. Oh! Feeling okay? Oh, shit! Whoa! Well... So... Most people lose to that, so that's fine. It is technically possible to win. And if you do, you get some bonus items, but that's not a big deal. Losing those is not going to make or break a run. The important thing is that we're now dead. And if you don't die in that boss fight, you'll die in the cutscene afterwards. So you are going to die to get to this point. It is important for the story that you do eventually get killed.
Is the Nexus. It holds together the Northern Land of Boletaria.
So...
You canst not quit the Nexus, but the 5 Archstones will guide thee to the Outer Lands.
You have died, and the Nexus has imprisoned your soul. You cannot escape the Nexus. As you can see, right now, we are a disembodied human soul. We are in soul form. And we have gained a new item called the Nexil Binding. The mark of those imprisoned by the Nexus. The bearer of this seal is bound to the Nexus, never to be free even in death. When the body is lost, the soul remains trapped. Nexil Binding returns the servant to the Nexus, but allows not any souls collected. So basically, if we end up glitching the game in a way that we can't recover from, we can always use Nexil Binding to return to Nexus, but if we do so, we lose all of our souls. But it is an important item because it is more or less the driving force for the game. That character who brought us back is known as the Maiden in Black. And she is one of the most important characters in the game. Thank you, Steve. Because of her, our soul is now bound to the Nexus. So if we should ever perish, we return here once more in soul form. And that is how we will end up prevailing, is thanks to our curse, the Nexil Binding, we cannot truly die. We can be killed, but we cannot truly die because our soul will always remain bound to the Nexus. And that is going to be our greatest strength throughout the run of Demon Souls.
Well, you slipped through the fissure too, did you? You came for demon souls? Or to save this land and be remembered as a hero? Hunting for demons? Try one of the Archstones. Now go. That is why you came, is it not? To this accursed Boletaria?
And that character is the Crestfallen Knight.
You came for demon souls? Or to save this land and be remembered? It's all the same. You're just another prisoner. We're welcome here. As long as we keep slashing up demons.
And something they didn't have in the original Demon Souls, they have in this Blue Point remake, is lip syncing. in the original game, the mouth didn't move at all when you were talking. It just stood still like this, as if there was nothing happening. But in the Demon Souls remake, the lips flap in real time. So you don't get people talking like this with their mouth never moving. They're just talking. They're just talking. But now they're talking. And that's like that's like, for people who've played Souls, like, FromSoft basically never does lip movement in any of their games. So that was a big deal. And as the Maiden in Black and our crestfallen friend have kind of pointed out, these archstones will take us to locations that contain demons that we are to slay. And it is time to get started in Cursed Boletaria, the Bolletarian Palace, and take on our first demon. Of course, we can't just go and fight him. We have to get there first. Look at all the people in that mouth. Yes, dragons. That's actually something that's worth pointing out. In a lot of media, will often treat dragons as like an enemy to just defeat. And dragons are usually like antagonistic in Souls games as well. But something that Miyazaki talks about, and Miyazaki is the head of FromSoft, is that in his games, if you see a dragon, it should be a big deal. Dragons are supposed to be powerful opponents. And that is especially true here in Demon Souls. Dragons are not something that are very common, but when you see them, you should run. Because it is very unlikely that you are going to be equipped enough to handle them. Unless you are hyper aware of what you're supposed to do. I'm not going to go two-handed because it goes more damage out that way. So whenever you see a dragon in a FromSoft game, especially like Demon Souls, you should take heed, because that means you are probably going to be in for some trouble. And something you may have also noticed is that while we're here in soul form, our maximum HP has been cut in half. We have half as much life as we do in human form. And there are ways to remedy that. We will get to those later. But for now, do just know that by its very nature, the soul form is squishier than human. But it does more damage. Need to watch someone die. Whenever you see a red phantom like that, that is showing you how somebody died. Or it's an invader, but we can only be invaded while we're in human form, not when we're in soul form. When you play in soul form, you get half your health, but you also get an increase in damage. But more importantly, when you're in soul form, you cannot be invaded. This is the game that started it all, and it also has invasions. Where other players can intrude upon your game and attempt to kill you, to take your humanity from you. And that does not happen until you have assumed human form. But the trade-off is that although enemies can invade you, you can also summon allies to help you in human form. But soul form does not have either of those interactions. Soul form cannot summon allies nor be invaded. By opening yourself up for companionship, you also open yourself up for betrayal by your fellow players. That is the way it kind of does work in these games. And I am happy to get these fire bombs. They're going to be useful when we actually arrive at the boss fight. Oh, this is bad. In general, you don't really want to encounter 2v1s. You typically want to stick to 1v1s if possible. Because this fighting is in multiple opponents at once is possible, but it is not easy in this system. The system is very much designed for 1v1 combat. We brave the colorless fog and continue on our quest. Mail breaker. So if you have a letter, use the mail breaker to destroy it. Are those flaming arrows? Oh no, they're fire bombs. Nice try. Another firebomb dude. Let's keep going. Oh, okay. More firebombs. That's okay, we're still in good shape. Their movements are a little erratic. It's hard to predict them. Oh, fuck off. That's rude. Alright, let's get some stuff. We're making pretty good progress throughout the first area of Boletaria. Now we've got to... Yep! Woo! That can kill you. That can absolutely end you. But since you did break the path open, let's get the bastard sword. We have not yet invented fire extinguishers. But also not invented ways to get out from under a giant boulder that's crushing you to death either. That's also not something they've invented as of right now. All right. Woo! Stay down. Hello, pikeman. Woo. Stay down. I'm not going to go in there because the enemies in there are a little tough for my position right now. But that is a place we will keep in mind, possibly for later. We will see. Because this game has a lot of intricacies and mechanics under the hood. And I mean a lot of them. More grass. Can always use more grass. Just like a deadbeat uncle. Never have enough grass. And fire bombs are good too. This is not the main way, but we will take this shortcut, this side path here. Oh! Glad I have healing herbs. Note to self, don't use fire swords on barrels. That's actually something that's pretty cool about the Souls games, is that explosive barrels don't explode unless you explicitly use fire against them. Normal weapons do nothing to exploding barrels, they just destroy them as nothing happens. But if you use a fire weapon, then the exploding barrels will combust. It's actually pretty important to take this detour. We'll see in a second. Nice try. Oh, exploding barrels, doing the job. All right. I think that's all of them. So now we can open up this. And this is two important things. First, this shortcut, if we ever die, have to go back to the Archstone, we can now just climb right back up where we were. We don't have to do the whole platforming before that. We can just go right there. And secondly, we just received a ring called the Cling Ring. And the Cling Ring is one of the best rings to have in the entire game. Mysterious ring shaped like an eye. Reduces the loss of HP sustained in soul form. So, basically, you see my health now. And now that I have the Cling Ring, my max health has gone up. What the Cling Ring does is, normally, when you're in soul form, you have 50% of your max HP. The Cling Ring says, instead, you have 75% of your max HP. And that is important, because that broke the platform that had an item up here. And now that we have knocked this body down, we can obtain the items on top of it. But the Cling Ring is that extra 25% of HP is so important when you're in soul form. And having the Cling Ring can make a significant difference between a really good run and a really bad run. So most players, and that this includes myself, say you actually only have one ring slot, not two, because one of them will always have Cling Ring in it. Which means you effectively have only one ring, because the Cling Ring is so valuable you cannot give up the slot for it. You just can't. Unless you are in human form, in which case the bonus doesn't actually matter. But you, for reasons we'll get into, you rarely see people playing Demon Souls in human form. And it has basically nothing to do with the invasions. That is something that can discourage players, but it is not the reason that people do not play this game in human form. That is, at best, like a small little nitpick that no one actually worries about. Because there are many mechanics that Blue Point was asked, like, they could consider doing away with, and they chose to stay faithful to the original Demon Souls for both good and ill.
Good day to you. Care to look over my wares? Mostly stolen, but who's telling eh?
So, one of the important things in Boletaria is that the people who are not... The people who are attacking us have lost their minds. They're crazy because they don't have enough souls to sustain their sanity. So the people who can keep their wits about them, they require souls to keep their sanity. And so they're willing to trade you items for souls. You give them the souls you picked up, and like your souls are your currency. The souls are how you buy items and upgrade weapons in this game. But they have another use, which we'll get into once we beat the first boss fight. Oh, no, no, no. No, no, no. That's a good example of what happens when we run out of stamina, is you just start getting bodied. But that's okay, we have grass. We have healing grass. Let us... It is astounding how many attacks can be just avoided by just walking around them. Part of how the game is paced. Oh, hi there. Bye. There was another... Okay, here first, here's the blue guy. So let's trigger you. And bring you down here. So that the other man can't shoot at me while I'm fighting you. Come over here. I know you want to. There was some collision on the... Nice try. Nice try. And now that I see you over here, Mr. Pikeman. Mr. Bowman. Have a nice trip. See you next fall. Now we've taken care of you. We actually are going to take a detour. Detour down here. Come over here. Come after me. That could have been a lot worse. Doing pretty good so far. Haven't really gotten any significant pushback. Let's make use of our arrows. What hit me? Oh, are they clipping through the roof? Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. Gonna be clever, but turns out I'm not clever. Alright, so let's duck in here. And switch to the half moon grass. That's okay, but these components are useful. Who had the bow? There. You had the crossbow. Fucked. We are going to take a detour. We're taking that detour, by the way. Hi, Blue. Oh, we've got you got a two-handed sword and no shield. Stop into the fucking dirt, yo. Eat dirt. Don't see any enemies here. Oh, there you are. Okay, let's fight. There you go. Something else knows about the game is that Dark Souls is very quiet. Purposely so. The silence basically allows you to kind of soak in the atmosphere of the world. They do have music that is used a couple times, but the music is only used for like key important events. And what? Where'd you come from? Alright. Cheaters. How many of you dregs are left? Another good thing about backstab is you are invincible while doing them. Alright, we saved him.
My thanks for your brave rescue. I am Ostrava of Boletaria. Accept this as a token of my gratitude.
Yes. We got a brass telescope, which will be useful at some point, I'm sure. Not really, but we did save a guy, and that's good. We saved Ostrava. And that may or may not be relevant in the future. It depends on which direction we choose to take. Because Ostrava, there is more to him than meets the eye. Same with a lot of characters in this game. We will talk about lore as it comes in. But there is a lot to discuss with regards to Demon Souls in its lore. And that is part of the draw of the series, as we said earlier. It is discovering and learning the world of Boletaria. No, that was there. That makes things a lot easier. That should take care of all of them in one fell swoop. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that was there. You don't have to go through these guys. You can just roll a boulder past them and kill them all in one shot. That's nifty. I like that. Going through grass faster than I'd like to, but we're still up on grass overall for this run, so that's good. There should be nothing over here, except for, yeah. So I could try to go for these items, but if I do, yeah. You don't want to fuck with dragons if they can't be at all avoided. Dragons are powerful enemies, and they will wreck your shit. Okay. Yeah! Yeah! That is why you don't fuck with dragons. That is why you do not fuck with dragons. I know those enemies drop items. They are not worth picking up. They're just not worth it. Because if I even try to go out there, I will almost certainly die. Don't see any enemies. So let us pull this lever, which will unlock our second shortcut and the gate to the first boss. So our first boss awaits. Our first real boss. A little preview of what's to come. But we have to get down there, and we could just die if we wanted to, but we want to keep our souls. And so that means we have to start killing things to make our way down. Pine resin. Pine resin is an item that lights your weapon on fire, so it does fire damage as well. There's some enemies in here. There we go. Come out, you pieces of shit. Kill you all at the same time. There's a third person here too. Backstabbing. There was way more reach there than I feel like there should be. That's okay, we got half moon grass. Always dodge if you can help it instead of blocking. Oh. Hey, Spearman. So I have my own fire bombs. Picking them up judiciously as we proceeded through this area. See, we're almost there. Almost down there. And obviously, fire bombs are a weakness, but you also get behind them, and that will let you fight them pretty easily. And now with this switch over here, first we get rid of this telescope from my hotbar. We have now opened the gate over here, so we have both shortcuts unlocked. So right over there is our starting point, and over here is the boss. Means we have nothing better. Nothing we can really do until we beat him or her. Let us fight the Phalanx. fire bombs do a lot for you, because this horde... Well, the area effect of the fire bombs can take out multiple of these hordes, because it's a phalanx. There are multiple enemies that are protecting the core. And once you take out the core, or once you take out the enemies around the core itself becomes a lot easier to fight. Oh, whoops. Didn't see you all there. Let's get rid of you. And so if you kept enough fire bombs for this fight, it's actually not tough. We will probably have to start killing these guys in melee, but that's not a problem. But there's only so many of them. They're reforming. I know what it looks like, but there are actually only a finite number of these enemies. They do eventually run out. And this is like... These moments are part of what people love about Demon's Souls. The boss fights are with no, like, every single boss except for like 1 or 2 is the kind of boss where if you know what you're doing, fighting him is a joke. The trick is to discover the trick. And once you discover the trick, the boss will usually fall in short order. And there we have a hint of who... If you noticed it, as the soul of the demon coalesced onto the Archstone, there was a hint of the woman it used to be. It turned into a woman, as it coalesced into its soul form, for us to pick up as a collectible. But now we have taken our first steps. You've defeated the Phalanx. So you may proceed onward. But first, we must return to the Nexus for further instructions.
Welcome back. The monumental awaits the above.
The monumental awaits us above.
The monumental will explain the Nexus to thee.
Let's talk to you.
Still alive? I am impressed. This is something that might interest you. The black-robed maiden of the Nexus looks after the flames. She's the morose one, with eyes sealed, compacted by wax. She can control souls like no other. Bring her the souls of men and demons, and she will embolden your flesh and blood with their power. But beware. decay into a foul beast.
This is a very important thing to note, and we will get into a bit more into that in a second.
New here, name's Baldwin.
And here is Blacksmith Baldwin.
It's simple. Just bring me all the souls you can. In trade, I'll give you weapons, or forge the ones you already have. With your souls, I can eke out a living. And with my weapons, you can go on living.
So we will have him repair our equipment. And I don't know if we want to use any of these weapons yet, so we will
come back alive.
come back later. But
I'm
we are also going to
Stockpile
come here to
Thomas.
stockpile Thomas.
When the Scots came, I didn't know what hit me. My wife and daughter fell
Poor
victim
Thomas.
to the demons.
Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and
But I would
prayers.
be worthless in battle. At the very least, I would be happy to lighten your load and look after any excess baggage.
So basically, just inventory, throw that away, throw these away, throw these in storage because you don't actually need them. As long as they're in storage, the materials are still usable. What does this do? Depend on ease of use. Change color depending on the nature of nearby souls. Oh, okay. Need the mail breaker or the bastard sword, I'm pretty sure. Shield don't need. And there's a reason you want to throw away anything you're not actively using. Or throw it in here.
Rest assured, best of luck.
Is, they, in every other Souls game, from Dark Souls and onward, that came out after this, there is, and even in this, there is a mechanic called Equipment Burden that records, that compares the weight of the items you are currently carrying on your person to the maximum amount you are allowed to have on your person before you are able to equip any further gear. And depending on what that percentage is, you have a different evasive move. Basically, the more heavy your gear is, the worse your dodge move gets. So, if you're wearing heavy gear, you generally want to have a higher stamina, a higher equipped burden. Not just so that you can equip it, but because so you can equip it and still have your light roll. And still have your ability to dodge unencumbered. And every game has this mechanic. This mechanic has been a consistent through line for all of the Souls games. But Demon Souls throws an extra complication in form of what is called item burden, which you're seeing in the menu right here. And if you're familiar with Fallout or Elder Scrolls or any of those Western RPGs, this is carry weight. Once you exceed your once you've reached your capacity for item burden, you are no longer able to pick up items in the field. So it is very important to throw anything you are not actively using or going to use in the near future onto Stockpile Thomas. Because Stockpile Thomas is essentially your item bank. You can throw items onto him and he will keep them safe for you. And if you don't use his services, you are going to be in for a bad time. Because you will be leaving items on the table that you do not have room to pick up. It is very important if you're playing Demon Souls to manage your inventory, because that is a significant chunk of the game. And no other Souls game has item burden. After this game was released and they moved on to Dark Souls, they dropped the mechanic completely. In every future Souls game from Dark Souls onward, they just allow you to just have your entire inventory on your person and only cared about your equipped burden, not your actual carry weight. Which made a lot of people happy. But when making the port or the remake of Demon's Souls, Blue Point opted to bring this mechanic back because they wanted to stay as true to the original vision as possible. And on some level, I don't fault them for that. However, I really wish they'd reconsidered. Because it's this mechanic and one more mechanic on top that really complicate Demon's Souls. And we haven't even gotten to that mechanic yet. We might not, because I'm not planning on tracking it, but it can actually become an impact on our run, and that is tendency, which we will explain in some future date. But for now, a monumental is this child here.
We have long awaited you, Slayer of Demons. I am one of the monumentals. We preserve the fabric of reality. There is a tale I wish to tell you. Once, we too a scourge of demons faced.
So they also fought a scourge of demons in their time. Because monumentals are old. The monumentals are very ancient.
In the distant past, under benevolent rule, the world was united owing to
the soul arts are a very important concept as well. Keep that in mind.
Until a lust for power caused the awakening of the Old One. Across the land seeped a colorless, deep fog, and the world faced extinction at the hands of the demons. Thanks be, we were able to lull the Old One back to its slumber. Yet only after the loss of innumerable souls, and most of the world, lost, erased by the fog. In order to mend the fabric of what lands still remained, we entrusted 6 leaders with 6 precious archstones, one to the king of a small yet industrious land, one to the king of the burrowers underground, one to the wise queen of the great ivory tower, one to the chieftain of lost and ill-fortuned souls, one to the shaman of the tempest-worshipping shadowmen, and the last to the great giants of the Northern Lands. The archstones were placed in the fringelands that survived. We contained the Old One here below the Nexus, and prohibited the soul arts. Finally, we became monumentals, half-living sentinels of the fabric of reality. Alas, the other monumentals have perished, and only I remain.
The 4 Steel Archstones have been unlocked.
Now it is your turn. You must lull the Old One back to its slumber and seal it away for all eternity. If not, the deep fog will absorb all that we know. Have you the strength to bear this burden?
Yes, we will
Yes.
accept.
We are fortunate indeed to have you. Now, go forth and destroy every last demon, The old one, without demons to feed its souls, will a new servant seek and lure you to its bosom.
So that is basically our mission. This is not the first time humanity has fought the Old One. And we didn't kill it, we lured it into slumber. So now the Old One's been resurrected by King Allant, we need to do the same thing again. And to do that, we essentially need to kill demons to cut off the Old One's supply of souls. And if we do, he will be tempted to use us as his new demon, which we can at that point lure him to slumber, or it to slumber. And now that we have spoken to the Crescent Falcon Knight and the Monumental, we can use souls for another
Brave
purpose.
soul, for whom death is no fear. Prithee, lull the old one back to its ancient slumber.
With inhuman prowess, Frustrated allows her to aid slayers of demons.
What is it? Seekest thou the power of souls? Of course. After all, thou requirest strength. Go ahead. Touch the demon inside me. Let these vagabond souls become thine own. Soul of the mind,
So,
key to life's ether.
as I explained before, souls are the currency which you use to buy items at shops. But more importantly, way more importantly than that, they are also your source of experience. Your character grows stronger by using the Maiden and Black's powers to convert souls into raw energy that they can use to level up. Now, for this run, we are going to probably go extremely light on magic. Magic and miracles. So I'm going to probably keep intelligence, magic, and faith to a minimum. But as a result, that means we can dump a bit more into strength, dexterity, vitality, endurance, and those kinds of stats. We'll use our souls to grow stronger.
Art thou finished? May thy strength help the will be mended.
And it is possible to beat the game at level 1. You don't have to do any level up if you don't want to. That is your choice. But the game is harder if you don't increase your stats. And so that is the push and pull, is you basically need souls to do much of anything. So do you spend your souls on upgrading your equipment or upgrading your character stats? And how much do you allocate to each purpose? That is more or less the big push and pull that guides your decision making as you build your character in Demon Souls. And also, later on, all the Souls games have the same mechanic. Because souls are an ephemeral currency. And now that we have defeated the demon of 1-1 here in Boletaria, the Phalanx, the game has opened up dramatically. Basically, the final boss is at the 4th stage of Bolletarian Palace. Once I defeat the thing on, I should probably explain the naming conventions. The Monumental explained that there are 6 Archstones here, except one of them is broken. That will remain broken for the rest of the game. It is essentially content that was never finished, and never will be. There are only 5 Archstones, so there's only 5 levels. And if you look at Demon Souls wikis, essentially, the game is broken down into stages. Each Archstone leads to a different region, and each region is very linear in its progression. So, we refer to these levels by the order in which they are in the Nexus from left to right. So, Bolletarian Palace is World 1. The Stonefang Tunnel here is World 2. The Tower of Latria is World 3. Oopsies. The Shrine of Storms is in World 4. And the Valley of Defilement is World 5. So we refer to them as Worlds 1 through 5 as shorthand. So if you look at the wiki, if you can see like World 1 or World 2, that is the shorthand they're referring to. And within that, each domain along the progression is given a sub-number. So the area we were just in, the first stage of Boletaria Palace, is referred to as World 1-1. 1-1. And if we proceed further in the palace, the area past the Phalanx boss we defeated is referred to as World 1-2. 1-2. And so, now that the game is opened up, the final boss, the one I had to beat to end the game, is in World 1-4. Bolletarian Palace is the only region that has 4 sub-regions. The rest of them only have 3. Now, I can proceed in Bolletarian Palace, but at a certain point, I will be unable to go any further until I've defeated one of the other, one of the final bosses of each region. Of the other 4 regions. Each of these other 4 regions, Worlds 2 through 5, each have 3 sub-regions. World 1, World 2, the first, second, and third stage. So, in this case, Superior in World 5 would be 5-1, 5-2, and 5-3. You cannot proceed in Bolletarian Palace until you've defeated at least one of the final bosses that is in the 3rd region of any of the other worlds. Doesn't matter which one, it has to be at least one of them, though. So, we have to either keep... So, at this point, the game is wide open. We can do whatever we want now for we've basically proven, by defeating the Phalanx, we've proven that we are competent enough to be let loose on the world. And so now, we get to basically choose our path. And while we could do 1-2, I actually think it's a better idea for right now if we get started on World 2-1. We won't probably get very far, but that is the core concept of the game, is that there are 5 regions, each of whom is governed by one of the Old One's archdemons. And we need to get the Old One's attention by killing the Archdemon in World 1-4, which requires first defeating one of the Archdemons in the other worlds. For the sake of this run, I am going to attempt to at least do all of the boss fights. So we are going to fight all of the big bosses. But I make no promises as to what else we intend to do in this run of Demon Souls. It's going to be played almost entirely by ear. So there should be enemies in this area. But okay, here you are. That is not a lot of damage. For a backstab, especially. Whoa! That's a lot of people. Ooh. Oh boy. Doesn't go. Okay, this. I have another idea what we might need to do first. Because there is a trick that can help set you up pretty early on. Although, given our intended build path, will not be helpful over the long term. It's going to be a very short-term solution that we will have to upgrade past at some point. So we're going to go back to the Nexus. So I know what I want now. Thank you, rock. Sticky white stuff. And we are going to go to World 4-1, but not for long. Just taking a quick detour. Because 4-1 is actually pretty tough. But if you can brave it, you'll get a lot of souls. Something that is interesting about the way the game is structured is that there is a particular drop that each area kind of specializes in. And here in World 4-1, the specialty drop is souls. There is no better place to grind souls than in the 4th world. Fucking hell. See, that one guy gave us like 400 souls for defeating him. I'm gonna bait you over here. Get my shield out too. Because the 2 damage actually is not adding up to much right now. There you go, there's a backstab. There we go. That's progress. That's a number. A lot of damage from one arrow. That is really bad. Come over here. Stop spinning around. Yeah, just drop dead, please. Please just be the one. Backstab in. That was an issue with original with Demon Souls 1, is that the backstab window in Demon Souls 1 was very, very restricted. It was very tight. If you weren't in it, you were basically not getting a backstab, and they widened it a lot in Dark Souls. But as you can see, here the window is a lot more stingy. That's okay. Doing fine. And there are archers on top, which is why I'm being a little cagey with my movements. A couple of fights, you've already gotten more souls than basically our entire... Let's see if I can avoid pressing this. Nope. That's okay, we had a shield to protect us from the trap. You're going to go down here. This opponent has red eyes, it means he's very tough, but you're also going to ignore him, more or less. Get this Falcon, and dart. And he will probably follow us, but that's fine. Because the Nexus is right here. And that was our goal anyway, is to get that Falcon. Or that Falcon. Because it is a pretty good weapon. It's a pretty good early game weapon, I should say. As you can see, it does almost double the damage my axe does. I look at my inventory. It is a weapon that does extra magic damage, and it is already like pre-upgraded to a +1 state, which all weapons are at base stats right now. So that additional boost, because we're at very low level in the game, that damage is significant. But as we level up, since our character is not a magic based build, we were going to want to replace this eventually. But for now, early in the game, it is a really good weapon to start out with. So if you're starting out, usually you'll go to World 4, get this weapon, and then do what you were actually going to do anyway.
Oh, good day to you. I can forge weapons for you.
Let me actually see if you have... I think I do actually want the straight sword. Yeah, we're going to use the short sword.
You come back alive.
And that'll be our actual weapon that we're going to use. So we're going to throw the other weapons onto Stockpile Thomas. You have a Talisman of God here as well.
You have a heart of gold.
It's the trade, your souls.
Let's see if we can upgrade our short sword. We'll need a few more shards to upgrade our short sword, but we are getting there.
You come back alive.
And as we upgrade the short sword, we will eventually replace our current weapon with it.
You have a heart of
But this is a weapon that's really useful to have, especially because the magic damage is something that most enemies in the game are vulnerable to. And since you should see the numbers change as soon as we start using this against the enemies here. Going two-handed with this is not going to be very useful because the way two-handed works is when you use a weapon in two hands, what is actually happening under the hood is that your strength scaling for a weapon is being multiplied by 1.5. So you get 50% boost in your effective strength for weapons. So it's useful in two ways. Weapons have minimum strength requirements. You see the flexed muscle on the bottom left of the screen. That 9 next to it means that to use this short sword, we need a minimum strength of 9 just to wield it. And that is a low requirement, but some weapons have like a requirement of like 15 or 20. And if you wield a weapon in two hands, the effective strength you have for that stat is 1.5 times its base stat. So as of right now, my strength is 14. If I wield a weapon with both hands, the effective strength under the hood is 21. It's an extra half of what my current strength is. Now, this affects both the minimum requirements. So if I have a weapon that requires 21 strength to wield, I cannot wield it with one hand, but I can wield it with two hands. But this also affects the attribute bonus. You see, this short sword has a scaling factor of D for strength and E for dexterity, which means that as our strength and dexterity stats go up, the damage it deals increases proportionally to its scaling factor. As you level up the weapon, the scaling factor will change and increase, but for now it's at pretty low stat. It's pretty low, and that's part of why leveling up weapons matters, is because it increases the scaling attributes. Now, our Crescent Falcon has no attribute scaling with strength, so two-handing it will do no bonus damage. But it has an A scaling in magic. So if we use a magic character who has a high magic stat, this weapon will get stronger. Since we are not, this weapon's going to stay at roughly the same strength throughout the entire game. But that's okay. We have other weapons that we can use in lieu of this. But for now, do note that that means there is no practical benefit. So you look at the change damage. That's a huge increase. To make this weapon really useful for early game. And so people who are characters who are high in magic and or faith can still wield weapons. They just need to find weapons that scale with those stats, and they'll be fine. Find and or make weapons that scale in those stats, because there are ways to change the properties of weapons to give them the scaling factors you want them to have. That was bad. Oh! Hi, doggy. Hi, doggy. And so, part of a Souls game is finding the weapon with both the moveset and the scaling to work for you. What does the bow do? I don't know what poisoned him. Is he taking burning damage? And that is a fat official. They are relevant for some stuff that happens later. And as previously stated, each area in the game has a thing that it drops a lot of more than any other world. Here, the item of the day is upgrade materials. You will find more upgrade materials here than any other region in the game. So if you need that extra bit of metal to upgrade a weapon, you will probably find it somewhere here in the caverns. Probably. Not guaranteed, but probably. There are certain magical upgrade materials that you can't find here, but you can find elsewhere. Another fat official. This bridge will collapse if I walk on it. Son of a bitch. Does this work? Oh, I can just hide behind here like a coward. I wonder if I can headshot him. Yeah. Bummer. It's worth a lot of souls, though. That's good. Hi there. Before you have a problem, you need to get slaughtered. I'm a good person. I kill people before they become a problem. It's not murder, it's pre-planned self-defense. It's pre-planned self-defense. Alright. We're gonna wrap up soon anyway. And this bad official drops the gloves of the official. Item that we're gonna need at some point. Another flat gate over here. So that's as the key go further into the cavern. Getting a lot of good items here. So we're gonna wrap up soon, but let's see how far we can get before we wrap up. It's not a boss yet, but this is the next area, the next part of this area. Stepping through the colorless fog. Oh hi, salamanders are here. These are dangerous enemies. Meltstone. Meltstone. Yeah, I might just have to come back and do this later. Shortcut's over here, so I want to at least try to get to it before we wrap up. Sickness. Being a lot of items, but still decent on our item burden. This would be a good place to wrap up soon anyway, so we're almost at the shortcut, and we should be able to do a couple of things before we end the stream. So this wheel activates this elevator pulley system, which both gets us down to base level, but lets us go deeper, so that we can talk to this man here. And this is Blacksmith Baldwin's brother, Blacksmith Ed.
I haven't seen you around these parts. What does it matter? You need a blacksmith? Show me your steel. If not, head straight for the door.
see he's got a couple spots on him. I'm not sure if that's soot or like he's starting to mutate, but either way, he's clearly like not in the best of shape. Upgrade our short sword a little further. Let's see. Quality will improve the scaling of dexterity to be roughly equal. Okay, so here we have a choice to make. You do the regular short sword or the quality short sword. The dragon one's not worth doing because the scaling is not there. Crushing pivots the scaling more towards strength. I think we do want to go with the quality sword because the extra scaling in the long term will be a bigger boon than the base damage increase. Even though it does cost us some base damage for our quality short sword, we're right now using the Crescent Falcon, so we can take that hit. If we have a good weapon we can use in the short term. We need more clearstone to upgrade this further. See, because quality weapons, they have bad base stats, but phenomenal scaling. So if we use the quality version, which we are, we've gone for quality. It'll do more damage overall. And then, unlike the Crescent Falcon, because we can apply resins to the quality short sword, we can apply enchantments if we ever decide to dabble in magic. So this is the way to go for maximum effectiveness in the long term. Of course, we are able to boost our Crescent Falcon's raw stats, but it only get us so far in a world without scaling. We can upgrade our bow as well while we're here. Just getting a... Oh, we need more souls to upgrade our bow. Okay.
All done. Then be gone. I work alone.
And I think that's a good place to end the stream. You've gone through a lot of mechanics, and I'm looking forward to, as we proceed through this, through Demon Souls, talking more about the lore aspect of it, because that is the part that really compels me and a lot of other players to keep playing the game. It's just the world of Boletaria and the people who inhabit it. But, for now, I must bid you adieu. Remember, wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands, get your vaccine, Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, stop Asian hate, and all lives cannot matter until Black Lives Matter. I kept telling myself I would say those things until they were no longer relevant, and goddamn, they never stopped being relevant. So until next time, have a safe evening, everybody, and I hope to see you next week. Bye!